Hi everyone, hope you had a fantastic day. I thought I would show you my pumpkin shirt, my jack-o'-lantern shirt. It was Black and Orange Day at our school today, and I hope some of you wore black and orange at home. But anyways, I thought you would like to see my nice big happy pumpkin. I also have something else to show you. If you have worked with me in small groups, then you have already seen this. But this is one of my favorite little Halloween decorations that I have. So it's a little tree with little owls up on the top. But just wait and see what happens when I press this button. Come a little closer. Isn't that fun? I love that little guy. So in the spirit of Halloween, every year I read this book. Boo! You probably have read this book, or a lot of you probably have seen this book. This is a Robert Munsch book, and Robert Munsch is one of my favorite authors again, and he is so funny. I just love him. This book is one of the absolute must that I must read every Halloween. In fact, I had to borrow a copy of the book because mine is so wrecked. So anyways, let's check out Boo by Robert Munsch. Oh, just got to adjust things a little bit here. Okay, you can see the title. Boo. On Halloween, Lance went to his father and said, "This year, I am not going to wear a mask. I am going to paint my face and make it very, very scary." "That's nice, Lance," said his father. "It's a lot less work for me. You go and paint your face." Uh-oh. You see Lance? I wonder what he's going to do. So Lance went to the bathroom and painted worms coming out of his hair, ants crawling on his cheeks, snakes coming out of his mouth. Then he walked downstairs, walked up behind his father, and said, "Boo!" His father turned around and yelled, "Ah!" "Not scary enough," said Lance. "I wanted him to fall over." So Lance went back upstairs and painted green brains coming out of the side of his head, one eye falling down over his face, and orange goop coming out of his nose. Ooh, that's gross. Then he went downstairs, walked up behind his father, and said, "Boo!" His father yelled, "Ah!" and fell right over. "Scary enough," said Lance. So he was happy with his painted face. Then Lance put a pillowcase over his head, got another for candy, and walked down the street. He went up to a house. Knock, knock, knock. A big man opened the door and said, "First kid for Halloween. So nice to see a little kid for Halloween." Lance lifted up the pillowcase and said, bet you know, say it with me, "Boo!" And the man yelled, "Ah!" and he fell right over. Oh, I wonder what Lance is going to do. But Lance wanted some candy, so he said very softly, "Trick or treat." He said a little louder, "Trick or treat," but nothing happened. So Lance went inside, and there was an enormous, that means a huge amount of candy, and all over the table. He put it all in his bag. Cut thump. Look at all that candy. Then, even though his bag was very heavy, he walked down the street and went to another house. A lady opened up the door and said, "First kid for Halloween. So nice to see a little kid for Halloween." Lance lifted up his pillowcase and said, "Boo!" And the lady yelled, "I bet you know, ah!" and fell right over. But Lance wanted some candy. So he said very softly, "Trick or treat." Do you notice anything about this book? That's right. There's some patterns in this book. So when Robert Munsch writes, he often writes so that things happen over and over and over again. So every time Lance goes up to somebody, he yells, "Boo." Every time the person sees them, they go, "Ah!" And then he has to say trick or treat. And he says it again. It repeats over and over. Oh my goodness. But nothing happened when he said trick or treat. He said it a little louder. Trick or treat. Nothing happened. So Lance went inside and there was an enormous table full of candy. Just like at the other house. He put it all in his bag. Ka-thump. I'll show you so far. Now look what he's doing. Then Lance went into the kitchen and opened up the refrigerator. He took out 10 boxes of ice cream, 20 cans of ginger ale, 3 watermelons, 10 frozen pizzas, and a turkey. Lance dragged the pillowcase across the porch. He fell down the stairs and landed in the middle of the street. I wonder how he's going to get home with all of that candy and food. Uh-oh. Look who showed up. A police car came by. The policeman jumped out, looked at Lance, and said, "Kid, what's the matter with you? You can't sit in the middle of the street. Take your candy and go home." "Look," said Lance, "my bag is so heavy, I can't even move. I live right down the street. Please carry my bag home." "Well, all right," said the policeman. "I'll take your bag of candy to your house." "Whoa, that's a heavy bag of candy." The policeman dragged the bag down the street, put it on Lance's front porch, and said, "Kid, you must have gone to 2,000 houses to get that much candy." "No," Lance said, "just 2. "Wait a minute," said the policeman. "How did you get so much candy at just 2 houses?" "Well," said Lance, "my face is so scary that when people see it, they fall over and I take all the candy in the house." Said the policeman. "I'm a policeman. You can't scare me. I want to see your face." "Okay," said Lance. What do you think? Look at the picture. What do you think happens? Let's find out. He lifted up his pillowcase and said, "Boo!" The policeman said, "Oh, if you think I'm going to fall over just because of a face like that, you're wrong. I'm going to run away." And he jumped into his car and drove away really fast. Zoom! Then Lance went inside and started to eat his first chocolate bar. There was a knock on the door, on his door now. Lance opened it, and there was a teenager. The kind of kid who is much too old to go out for Halloween, but still goes out anyways. He had a pillowcase over his head and a bag full of candy, much bigger than Lance's. "Wow," said Lance, "you must have gotten to 5,000 houses to get that much candy." "No," said the teenager, "just 5. "How did you get so much candy at 5 houses?" said Lance. How do you think? Notice anything that's the same? The teenager said, "My face is so scary that when people see it, they fall over and I take all the candy in the house. And now I'm going to scare you and take all the candy in your house." Thumbs up at home if you think that's going to happen. Let's find out. "Maybe not," said Lance. "I want to see your face." I'm going to keep it a surprise. "Okay," said the teenager. He lifted up his pillowcase and yelled, "Boo!" He had worms coming out of his hair, butterflies coming out of his nose, and ants coming out of his mouth. He was scary, but not nearly as scary as Lance. "Nice try," said Lance. There he is. Didn't scare Lance. So then Lance lifted up his pillowcase and said, boo! Look at how big that is. B-O-O. That spells boo. And it's in great big letters with exclamation mark. So they want you to say it really loud. Boo! The teenager yelled, ah! Dropped his bag of candy and ran down the street. Lance took the teenager's bag of candy and dragged it into his house. Now he has a lot of candy. His candy lasted a long time. Every day, Lance ate as much as he could. He ate candy for breakfast, candy for lunch and dinner. He ate candy in the middle of the night, but his candy still lasted until next Halloween. And look it, he got smart for next Halloween. He's not walking and carrying his candy. He has a great big truck. I love that story. I hope you did too. Okay, what I would like you to do is to get a piece of paper and some markers or crayons or anything that you color with. And I want you to draw just a face, just a head. And I want you to draw the scariest face that you can. Maybe you have worms coming out of your ears. Maybe you have ants on your forehead. Maybe you have black stuff coming out of your mouth. Whatever you want. Maybe your face is all green and warty. I want you to draw the scariest face you can think of and take a picture. Let's see who can scare Mrs. Hamilton.